Hey mamas! Misplaced loyalty. Why do we feel it with our mothers? It's very easy for us to say that we're not perfect, that we screw up on a daily basis, that we're trying our best to be better mums. And yet, when it comes to saying the same thing about our parents, it's really difficult. Why is this? This is because your inner child is putting up resistance. Your inner child is pretty much basically wired to see only the good in your mother, in your parents, in fact, because a child can't survive in the wild by itself, or it'd be very difficult. It needs a family unit, the safety, the stability, the protection of a tribe or a family unit in order to thrive. So the psyche literally fragments off anything that would make your parents seem not worthy or unsafe or not capable of giving that child what she needs to survive. So even if your parents were the worst type of abusive, terrible primary caregivers, your child would still see the best in them, because that's how she has to retain a sense of hope. A sense of hope that even if she's not getting what she needs, that is her fault. It's not their fault. And if it's her fault, then that actually gives her a sense of empowerment that she can change, the status quo and get what she needs because her parents are capable of it. It's just that she hasn't asked for it properly, or she hasn't been good enough, or she hasn't been pretty enough, or she hasn't been direct enough, or whatever it is that your parents instilled in her as values. So, because you literally fragment what is not okay off as a child, it's very difficult then as an adult to try and come to this place of wholeness that we want to be in and integrate what was always there, the knowledge that they weren't perfect, because how can they be? They're human, just as we're not perfect. But to integrate that, you can come up against a lot of resistance from that daughter part of you that needed to see only the good. So I've got a little trick for you, and that trick is to insert your child into a memory that you might have. So instead of you being in that memory, you're inserting your child and you're revisiting that memory as an observer of your parents doing to your child what they did to you. Usually what happens in this circumstance is that our fierce, loyal, loving, protector mama bear side comes out, and we're able to see the memory and what actually happened through much more objective eyes. We're seeing it as one that wants to protect our child from what is wrong, rather than as a child who will only see the good in her parents because it's always her fault. So this is a really good way of integrating all of our experiences and therefore coming to a much more authentic, meaningful acceptance of our parents as the flawed human beings that they are, just as we are flawed human beings. It's impossible that your parents were there for you in all the ways that you needed them to be, because they're human, especially if they had more than one child. Just as you know that it's practically impossible to be there for your children in all of the ways that they need you to be there, especially if you have more than one. So in order to get to this full acceptance, and to make sure that that inner child isn't putting up resistance towards seeing the faults in your parents, try putting your children into the memory instead, and you'll get a much more objective perspective and perhaps have a very different reaction to what was done to you as a result. Let me know what you think.